All right, Shalom. All praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Quadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And Shalom to the hopeful elect Akim that are teaching this word. Shalom, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Quadash. So yeah, this is just a quick commentary on, there's currently the World Cup going on in the USA, Canada, and Mexico, right? And, there's a lot of news coming out, that basically Iran is in the World Cup. This is the first ever World Cup. This is like signs, signs of the times. But this is the first ever World Cup that there's actually a participating nation in the World Cup. The host nation, which is America, is actually at war with a participating nation, which is Iran, because Iran is in the World Cup group. So they're in the actual World Cup. So there's all sorts of controversy and etc. going on. So these are signs anyway. And as we know, a lot of these sports and stuff are set up anyway. A lot of these sports are, pre-predicted and controlled by the elites anyway. But the point is, Iran is in a World Cup in America, a country that is actually actively at war with, right? And, Trump's been throwing obstacles in the way of the Iranian national team, because I think what he was saying is every time they play, they got to leave the country, etc., etc. They weren't granted visas. And then not just Iran, but a lot of nations are complaining that are participating. They're complaining against Donald Trump. He's actually putting America in a bad light. And even myself, a lot of people I've spoken to that follow you call it soccer in America. I was speaking to some people here and they were saying, why the hell did America get to host it and etc., etc. People are not happy because, contrary to, basically, Babylon America is despised in the world, basically. It's despised, man. In Europe, especially, a lot of people in Europe despise America. Most people. So let me read a bit of this here and then I'll read a few scriptures. Just a quick one. It says, Iran, an ideological tug of war, the pressures facing Iran's World Cup squad. All right? It said, flag bans, travel headaches, and a religious regime video among bumps in the road as teams prepare to be first to play, in country which it is at war, referring to Iran. It says Iran will present a major challenge to FIFA's Football Unites the World, because that's the slogan, Football Unites the World, which is all bullshit, man. When they're all at war and destroying each other. And we know all these sports, by the way, are all distractions. The sports and entertainment are distractions, all right, for what's really going on behind the scenes. Because as soon as this World Cup's been announced and is kicked off, what were they doing? Iran and America, Babylon, broke the peace treaties that they had with Iran, supposedly, and they were bombing each other that very night, which was a few days ago. So Iran will present a major challenge to FIFA Football's Unites the World slogan on Monday by becoming the first country in the world, in World Cup history, to compete on the soil of a host nation with which it is at war. All right. It says the national team's opening match against New Zealand in Los Angeles will kick off amid continuing hostilities between Iran and the US that have intensified in recent days as a fragile ceasefire has failed to hold and attempts at reaching a negotiated settlement have sputtered. All right. It says the belligerent backdrop makes a mockery of the message of unity being peddled by FIFA's president Gianni Infantino. Yes, because what's the slogan? The slogan, Football unites the world. All that bullshit, man. All right. Despite FIFA's fever dreams that this could be this could be an apolitical World Cup, it is the most politically combustible World Cup ever, and the Iran-United States-Israel war sits right at the center of it, said Jules Boykoff. Yeah, because there's a war going on, between Iran and America. There's actually, they're at war, man. Okay. It says Where was I? It is the most political combustible World Cup ever, and the Iran United States Israel war sits right at the center of it, said Jules Boykoff, a political professor at Pacific University in Oregon and a former professional footballer. There's never been a World Cup where one of the hosts is openly threatening war crimes against one of the participating nations, and that participating nation in turn is bombing other participating nations. The level of newness is off the chart. Yeah, because they're actually going to compete with one another in supposed sports, which brings the world together, but they're all bombing each other. They're all actually at war within these various lands. So this is all signs of the times, man. Okay, this is signs of the times, and Trump's stoutness as well is even more being despised on the global scale, man. I think Trump had like the World Cup in the White House, you know, and I think they're saying that Trump is gonna, because USA plays tonight, right? And they're saying that Trump's gonna refuse to be at the opening ceremony, because at the opening ceremony of the host nations, presidents and important people show up for it, right? Trump's saying he ain't gonna be there, so we're gonna see. But that falls into that. I mean, it'll be beautiful if he doesn't go, because that falls into that stoutness and the nations hating, despising America more, basically. All right. It says Iran's players will take to the field. Oh yeah, it says there's war crimes levels. Okay, Iran's players will take to the field at Sci-Fi Stadium following months of speculation over whether. Okay. Let me read this. Doubts over involvement were dispelled this week after squad members were granted U.S. visas. Yeah. So they were at one point saying that they weren't going to give them U.S. visas, basically, so they couldn't participate. But now saying they've given it to them, including the president of Iran's football governing body, Mehdi Taj, because he once belonged to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. So, this is basically, I mean, that's basically what I'm going to, there's not, you can check the article, but the point is, there's never been a sport, a global competition where nations, where participating nations are actually actively bombing one another. All right, this is the first time that's happening. So it's all the spirit, man. All right, and it's showing that Babylon, is basically despised, man. Okay, and hey, this could be the signs anyway, Lord willing. We always say it our last year, but you got to look at these signs, things like this that are taking place. You know what I mean? So it's a beautiful thing, and don't be surprised if they do a bloody false flag at one of these major events, because a lot of people are gathering for these events in the US. Fans from Europe are going over there, etc., etc. Don't be surprised if they do a major false flag, man, in this period. It will be beautiful if they do. All right? So let me quickly just read a few here. I just wanted to make this one quick. This is Jeremiah 50 and 29. It says, Jeremiah 50 verse 29, call together the archers against Babylon, all ye that bend the bow, camp against it round about, let none thereof escape. Yeah, call together the archers, that's talking about the nuclear missiles. So the nations gathering together, and Babylon represents America. So the nations gathering together against Babylon. All right, so that will be Iran, obviously America's, the traditional enemies of America, China, Iran, Russia, etc. But then remember, everyone's going to eventually turn against Babylon, even the allies of America. And that's happening anyway, because politically, the allies of America are turning against it. Primarily Europe. Most of Europe despise America. The European governments, they're turning against Trump. So, it all falls in line. So call together the archers against Babylon, all ye that bend the bow, camp against it round about, let none thereof escape. Yeah, let no one escape. Ain't none of y'all escaping, man. Okay, when the nuclear missiles are shot off against America, ain't no one escaping, all right? When the nuclear missiles are shot off against Babylon the Great, nobody's escaping that judgment, all right? It says, call together the archers against Babylon, all that bend the bow, camp against it round about, let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work, according to all that she have done, do unto her. For she have been proud against the Lord, against the Holy One of Israel. Yeah. America has been proud against the Heavenly Father, man. Okay? Against the Holy One of Israel. Babylon the Great has been Babylon the Great and the Edomites, the nation of Edom, shall we say, they've been proud against the Heavenly Father, and Trump is symbolic of that. Donald Trump, he's symbolic of the pride of Edom. He's symbolic of the pride of the so-called white man. All right, the Edomites. He's symbolic of their pride, man. Their most proud, stout spirit. He's a symbol of that. Okay? He's definitely a symbol of that. All right, so it says, where is it? It says, against the Holy One of, and they've been proud against the Holy One of Israel. One, they've enslaved the Lord's people, the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, which is why this judgment's coming in the first place, And then another thing, what does it say in Revelation 11? It says, where they X'd the Lord out, basically, I think it's Revelation 11 and 7, right? It says they X'd the Lord out, basically, like his image, all right? So they've been portraying, America primarily has been portraying that image of a white so-called white man as the Lord, okay? So they've been proud against the Heavenly Father. They've been continuously oppressing the Israelites, destroying the planet Earth, continuously, keeping up their fuckery with their hidden councils. All these things have been taking place, and y'all thought that the Heavenly Father was with you, all right? Okay, so it says, for she had been proud against the Lord, against the Holy One of Israel. Therefore shall her young men fall in the streets, and all her men of war shall be cut off in that day, saith the Lord. Yeah, so the Heavenly Father is going to bring that judgment, and the so-called tough guys of America, they're going to be destroyed too. There goes your special forces and Green Berets and whatever. The Green Berets, the what's the faction? The Marine Corps, Victory, whatever they're called, man. All them John Rambos, so to speak. Those heroes, John Rambo. Rambo's a dope movie, by the way, man. Rambo and all that. But it's an old school movie, Rambo, First Blood. Great film. But basically those Marines, man, those tough ass soldiers, they're gonna be destroyed too. The men of war of America says, behold, I'm against thee, O thou most proud, saith the Lord of hosts, for the day is come, the time that I will visit thee. And the most proud shall stumble and fall, and none shall raise him up, and I will kindle a fire in his cities, and it shall devour all round about him. Yeah, and that's the point I wanted to really get, the most proud. Because what's the symbol of America? That eagle, man. The eagle that soars. That's the bird that's the most proud of all birds, is the eagle. All right, it soars the highest and is the most proud. All right, Donald J. Trump, he represents the eagle, man. Donald J. Trump, he represents the eagle. He soars up high and he's most proud, man. All right, so he's symbolic. Donald Trump himself is symbolic of an eagle, and you look at him, he looks like a goddamn eagle, man. We say that's Ptolemy back, isn't it? He's got that eagle look, man. All right. Or Nero, Salakia, excuse me, Nero. Same thing, Edomite lines, Nero, man. He got that eagle look. All right. So that's the most proud. Okay. So let me read this here, Nahum 3 and 4, and I'll end it on this. This is Nahum. The book of Nahum 3 verse 4, it says, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcraft, that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts. Yeah, that's talking about America, man. That. Come on. You can't tell us they ain't talking about America. The multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot. That's how the Lord described America. It's a whore, a well-favored harlot. All right. It says, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcraft. And it's the mistress of witchcraft because what takes place in America outside of the facade they give you through Hollywood, the lies they show you through Hollywood, really the place is run through witchcraft, man. I believe 1776 was the founding of, I think it was in the Washington area. It was the founding of the Illuminati. It's 1776, I believe. All right, in the Washington area. I think it was it Albert Pike. All right. So yeah, and then remember the apostles did that video over there, man, which they did a video in that Washington area. I think that the 1776 statue with Albert Pike in it on the statue, and I think they've removed that statue now. Why? Because his truth's been coming out, man. Because mystery Babylon through the apostles has been being revealed for the past 40 to 50 years. You know, through the line of our men, the men of our line, right? That's the apostles, their teachers, you know, High Priest Ariel, Abba Bivens, King Marsha, High Priest Yaquab. Those men passed on the teachings, and the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, America, that well-favored harlot, mistress of witchcrafts, that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts. That's been being revealed. That's talking about America, man. Behold, I'm against thee, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness and the kingdoms thy shame. All right, and that's what's happening now. The Lord's revealing the skirt of America and showing the nations, showing the nations thy nakedness and the kingdoms thy shame. It's showing all the other nations this is the most corrupt place on the planet Earth. The most wicked leaders. You know, what the Iranian regime, they call America the Epstein government. That's what they call Esau's system in America, the Epstein government. And guess what? You devils over here in Europe, you're no different. You're the same. That's your people. Babylon represents you because it's your people on top. So what did the Iranian regime call them? The Epstein government, the Epstein file government, right? So this is beautiful times that we're in, man. So it says, and I will show the nations thy nakedness and the kingdoms thy shame. And your shame is being seen all over the world. And things like this sporting event of a World Cup is even more showing the shame of America, man. People are annoyed that it's even being hosted there. And then you're seeing Trump's pride, you know, just coming out more and more, right? Towards the nations, towards the participating nations of the event, etc., talking shit about the different governments. Just popping it, man. Just popping it completely. Meaning he's just popping off, man. All right? So, you know, with that, I'm going to say all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakha, Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And shalom to the hopeful elect Akim that are teaching this word. Shalom, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakha, Kodash. Shalom, shalom.